Can optimism help anxiety? This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to answer that question in this video. The first thing that I'm going to mention is that negativity has negative impacts, and that's physically, emotionally, mentally. We have valid scientific studies that say that this is true. You can negatively impact your own health by thinking negative thoughts. And so your thoughts do have power. It might not be magic, but it impacts how your body works because your mind is the computer of your body. And we know that your body produces helpful chemicals and hormones when you're optimistic and you think positively. But when you are under stress or you're thinking negatively, your body produces chemicals and hormones that can be negative to your health. They can harm you. And so that's why your thoughts are so important. Number 2, anxiety compared to anticipation. So anxiety is more similar to dread. In a lot of ways, it's you thinking too far into the future and worrying about the negative things that could happen. Whereas anticipation is usually positive. You're excited about something. You can't wait for it to happen. You're looking forward to it. And so those two things are similar in that you're looking to the future, but one is positive and one is negative. One is looking forward and the other is dread. And so a lot of this can be how you frame it. You can say, I'm excited. So if you're an athlete and you have an event coming up, or you have a big meeting with business, or if you have a difficult conversation with someone, sometimes you can look at it as, I'm going to resolve something, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to have a positive experience, and so I'm excited about it. So trying to reframe these things can actually be really helpful, and it can help you with your anxiety. You will find that if you think positive thoughts, you will feel better. It may not completely take all of your anxiety away, but if you can push back against those negative thoughts, against the dread and the anxiety, with some positives, even simply saying it could end up being a good thing, you'll be amazed at how your mind can help you during these difficult times or during things that are coming up that maybe you're worried about. If you can try to look at it as something you're excited about, maybe you're going to get it over with, that can be really helpful. And of course, you can't do that with everything. Sometimes things are negative, and that's when I suggest you try your best to stay right here in the moment. And I have other videos on that. Number 3 is that optimism is attractive. If you've ever been around someone who's just constantly negative and they are always assuming the worst is going to happen, usually that's not someone you want to be around. Usually that's not attractive. That's why when I'm dealing with someone who's going through a breakup and they are acting that way, they're being negative, they're down in the dumps, they're being Eeyore, and they're even communicating that with their ex, I will tell them that is the least attractive thing that you could do, because when someone feels sorry for you, that's not the same thing as attraction. As a matter of fact, it's very different. When someone pities you, they aren't attracted to you. They're usually attracted to someone who has a positive energy about them, who has good things going that they're contributing to or that they're looking forward to, or they're trying for good things and they're not afraid of failing because they're focusing on the positives. Those are things that are attractive. But when someone is complaining, when someone is negative and they just won't stop talking about it, even if we care about them and we feel sorry for them, we kind of want to break from it. And it's difficult to see that in ourselves, but if we're around someone else that we care about, even if they're going through difficult times, we want them to take a break from it sometimes. We can't just keep hearing that. We can't just stay in that mindset. We need a break from it. That's just how we are. And so keep that in mind when you're around other people, when you're around friends, or maybe you're around your ex. You have to keep a lid on some of this. I don't mean that you hide it and that you're not true to yourself, but there's a time and place, and sometimes you need to really work on reframing your own thoughts. So remember how you have felt when someone will not stop complaining or they just stay down in the dumps. Even though life is difficult, and there will be times when sorrow is certainly reasonable, and we will all feel it at times, just remember, try to give yourself a break from it. It will help you, but it will also help the people who are around you. And when we are alone, a lot of times we can become even more down in the dumps, even more depressed. And so you don't want to push people away by refusing to talk about anything but the negativity. So keep that in mind as you're working on yourself and you're working on your relationships. Take a quick second to subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when I have more videos like this. Number 4 is a fascinating one, but it's where when you choose to be optimistic, you activate self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm not getting all new age with that. What I'm saying is that have you ever been looking for something and you ended up finding it because you were specifically looking for it? Whereas other times, if you're not looking for something, you may not notice it. But when you're optimistic, you will be on the prowl. You'll be looking for these positive things, and so they will be easier to find. And a lot of times, optimists just seem to have good luck. And it's because they're opening the door for these things. They're willing to consider that they could happen. As a matter of fact, they are anticipating that good things will happen. And so they are looking for them and more likely to notice them. And so that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's when you keep saying something, you keep looking for something, and you end up finding it, even if it wasn't necessarily obvious. But if you are expecting the negative and looking for the negative, then you're more likely to find it. And so when you're optimistic, you activate self-fulfilling prophecy. And that just means that you're going to be thinking the things and you're going to be doing the things that can actually bring about a positive outcome. Number 5, optimism can be learned. And a lot of this is simply just choosing to take action in your own mind. And so that means you're thinking the positives. Maybe this will work out. I bet this will work out. I'm thinking this will go this way. Just saying those things instead of saying the negative. And so even when you say the negative, because it's so normal and natural for you to do that, correct yourself. Say, but it could work out. And you can also, when you start feeling those negatives, choose to say things like, I will cross that bridge when I get there. Or I'll figure something out. Things that show confidence in yourself and optimism for the future. You can retrain your brain and it will have quick impact. You will be able to notice these things, and other people around you will as well. And if you ever notice leaders when they're under difficult situations, the ones that we admire are the ones who encourage us, who have a vision, and who are focusing on attaining the positive. They're not just saying, it's probably not going to work out, we're probably going to fail. That's not inspirational. And those are the people who usually do fail. The ones who are laser focused on success and on getting that positive outcome are much more likely to get it. And at first, especially if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety and negativity, thinking those positive thoughts may feel fake. That's okay. Fake it till you make it. Think those positive thoughts even if you feel silly. And you can even do things, even kind of making fun of the concept, like exaggerating your fists and saying, oh boy, or I can't wait to see how I'm going to figure this one out. Just saying things like that. They're mildly humorous. They're sarcastic. Sometimes that can be fun, and that can be a stepping stone to you being an optimist. But don't mistake realism for negativity. Realism is not putting a positive or a negative slant on things. And so don't say, well, I'm not an optimist because I'm a realist. Be careful that you're not actually a negativist. And that may or may not be a word, but it's such an ugly sounding word that I assume you don't want to be whatever it is. So keep the negative thoughts out. Fight back against them. It's more fun, you'll feel better, and there's lots of positives to it in terms of your relationships and outcomes in life. Be sure to watch this video in the end screen that can help you more if you're struggling with anxiety and you're looking for practical, logical solutions. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.